This time we'll take a short look on rockhounding machines, because it came up on the Discord. So rockhounding you get access to in chapter 7, which is this beautiful mess of a thing, and it's really cool mod pack, I think, that allows you to create very intricate machines. You see them scattered throughout here. But they're a bit tricky to set up. So number one, which is also set in the mod pack, use this thing. This is the planning table. You can go through the different buildings, and it'll tell you what you need to build it. And if you plonk it down, supply it with all of the things it asks for, and hit build, it will build out the machine for you. Once you know what you're doing, you don't particularly need it. For the one reason that it wants for pretty much every rockhounding machine a server. And you don't really need a server. The second thing about rockhounding machines is they have upgrades. They go into these upgrade slots. Very important. You can shift click these upgrades in the upgrade slots, but you shouldn't, because some of the machines are buggy and then it will go into the wrong port and you can't get it out. It'll be there forever, and if you destroy the block, it'll not come back. So be careful with that. Next thing is about taking these machines apart. If you take a rockhounding machine apart, be sure to deactivate it first. I had it several times now that not deactivating the machine first before taking blocks out of it crashed my game and partly corrupted my save. Thanks there for Metalit, who each time was able to recover the save. So just to be sure, deactivate a machine before you do any changes. The question that was asked was how to power these machines. And that's also quite tricky. Each machine that needs to be powered has this power station. And there are several ways this works. This is a very easy one. If I take this off, you can see here the power station has this red part, which you can connect with a via connector from Immersive Engineering. And there you are. It'll now store power and uses that power to generate its internal power. So this one has 64,000 ticks worth of power. But there are other machines, yes, like this one. This is an extraction controller. So this one needs an induction heating interface, because this machine doesn't work on power, it works on heat. So you need to plug it in as normal, but then you need to give it this induction heat interface, and it will convert this RF into heat power. You can also buffer it with lava, and you can buffer it with syngas. And syngas you can make, but you'll need to pipe it around. It can run out. So this is the most expensive way to do it with induction interfaces, because each of them are very, very, very expensive. These gas turbines and these heating coils, which use a lot of advanced materials. But then they just run on power. If you're low on power, it might be useful to use syngas. But to get syngas, you need a whole machinery complex, because syngas is made from a mineral Caesar that is crushing down blocks of coal, which then gets cracked coal compounds, which is fed into the slurry pond to make coal slurry, which is then fed into the next machine, which is this gasification plant, which you need to power, and that makes syngas, makes this coal slurry into raw syngas, which you then need to filter with this gas purifier, which gives you clean syngas. The thing is, these machines can clog up. You have these material cabinets, which take the trace compounds that you might or might not want, and they take these graduated cylinders. You can automate this, but they only stack to one, and they get used up slowly, and each time a purification process is done, they will produce some kind of compound. And it will be stored in these material cabinets, and these material cabinets have an output port, and if you put a lamp balance here and force the extraction, then all the materials inside here that are one full compound worth get extracted, and then you can just put a hopper down here and it'll get extracted. So that's that. You will need a lot of these machines. As you can see here, there were more rockhounding machines, but I didn't need them later on, so I removed them. But rockhounding is a major source for rare materials like tungsten and magnesium and cobalt, which you can rarely get otherwise. Later on in to the end of chapter 7, you also need a lot of different lanthanides, which you can also only get by rockhounding. Right. What else? Oh yeah, rockhounding gives you several kinds of pipes. There are fluid pipes and there are gas pipes, and I think there are dust pipes. These are very, very useful. But they're not that expensive, but one part of them is expensive because they need to be actively pumped and they don't play with any of the other kinds of pumps that you have. So you need special pump blocks that you can either switch on or off. These pipeline valves, you can tell them where they should connect to and where they shouldn't. And the nice thing is, you can see I have a whole load of different machines connected to the same ring of pipes. These pipes don't contain anything. They'll immediately warp certain amounts of liquids or gases to the inventories that will take them. And the nice thing is that these if you put in the recipe like here for methanol, then all the input and output tanks automatically get filtered as well. And so I have all of these machines on the same line. So here's liquid ammonia that I used for something. Here's methanol. And that methanol is connected to this other methanol. And where does it all go? Well, here to this machine that makes chloromethane. And it's also connected to this tank with hydrochloric acid. And where does this go? Well, to my hydrochloric acid machine. So it makes piping much easier. Thing is, these things mostly work only with rockhounding machines. I had several problems lining them up with normal tanks, so you may need to be careful there. Then another thing that I did that you might not do is catalyst regeneration. You will need to make advanced materials, you need these catalysts. There are several tiers, and what tier of catalyst you have, you see in this when you hover over this little screen of the machine. I have a tier 3 system catalyst and a tier 2 production catalyst, which all in all gives me a tier 7 because I have more production than system catalysts. It's not really that well explained, sadly, but alright. But as you can see, these catalysts, when the machine is working, these catalysts are used up. And in the beginning, you might only have very few of the good catalysts. You do want a good catalyst because it multiplies your production yield. Usually your production yield is like 20 millibuckets per production. There are these machines that are catalyst regenerators. They slot in below the machine with the catalyst that you want to regenerate, and they run on flue gas. You will have way too much flue gas anyway from dealing with toxic waste. You want to deal with toxic waste. You do not want this to spill. Just trust me. You need to give it an extractor because these make waste compounds that need to be dealt with. But then when the catalysts are going into the red, it will use a bit of flue gas and it regenerates the catalysts. So these are just in case this fails. And later on, these are not really worth it because you can just multiply the catalyst materials rather easy. For machines that need to run continuously but draw lots of power, and if your power grid isn't as strong, I recommend doing something like this. Take a battery, put an output in this direction just to buffer spikes in power draw. The end product of all of this, by the way, is silicon wafers, because they're expensive, and silicone, which you will need in chapter 7 for all kinds of different things. It's ridiculous how much you need of that. Later on, you can get rid of some of your rockhounding machines, but some are still very, very useful, so I just kept them. Your mileage may vary. There are different ways to get to some products, and I had this Rockhounding set up already, so I used it. Yeah, that's basically it. Rockhounding takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of planning, but it's useful. Oh, one thing that's very important. What's it? F9. Make sure that each rockhounding machine, that the rockhounding machine is in one chunk. You should not have rockhounding machine in two chunks, because this can also break the game. I think it can cause a memory leak and break your save files. So always align them within a chunk. Don't put them in several chunks. That's really, really important. Yeah, that's all I remember about rockhounding right now. So hope that helped.